let's talk about the time at the hospital and the first week home post-op. So the time at the hospital went okay. I remember waking up and feeling really uncomfortable, partially because of all the gas that was on my stomach and in the abdomen area. But I also believe that coming down off that anesthesia was just like really messing with me. I just remember doing a lot of moaning and I was just like, oh my God, I just cannot stop moaning. Like I just felt like I could not move the way I wanted to. I couldn't breathe the way I wanted to. Like, you'll notice that after you have the surgery, taking a deep breath, you kind of feel something you kind of feel like where they hit a wall. Like you can't breathe as deep and you kind of have to push past that. And that's why they give you that spirometer. Now, so over time, you're going to be taking deeper and deeper breaths. But yeah, I just felt really strange. Like I couldn't breathe the way I wanted to. I couldn't sit up the way I wanted to. But they did make sure to get me up and moving after about the first hour from being in my own room. I do remember the first night I was able to change into some clothes with the help of my mom. My mom stayed. My mom helped me put on my clothes, and I wasn't completely helpless, but I was just kind of uneasy from all the medication I was on. Like I was on pain medication. I was coming down off anesthesia. So I still felt a little rocky. I was not one of those people who just bounced up after surgery and was like, oh, I'm great. I did not feel great. So that's my experience. So they had us doing a lot of walking. We had to walk 1 mile per day that we were there. I had an overnight stay. My appointment was at 7 a.m. and my surgery was about 40 minutes. I mentioned before that in a previous video that they found a hernia when they went in there, and he told me that was unexpected. I looked in my medical records and it was a 3-centimeter hernia. So it was a decent size. It wasn't huge, but it was a decent size. The next day was more of the same, just taking your medication, just how it is after any surgery recovery. They're talking with me about how much to drink. You sip, sip, sip. Your fluids, don't gulp. Make sure that you're crushing all your pills. So that's fine. Discharged home. And tell me why I got home and took some medication and swallowed the pill. I swallowed my pain pill. I forgot about it. I did not crush it up. And so I started freaking out. So I called the doctor's office and talked to the nurse practitioner. And she said, now, how did you forget that already? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm freaking out. And so she asked me which one it was. And she said, well, with it being so small, she said, you should be okay. I don't think it's going to get hung up on anything. And just keep an eye out on your symptoms and all that. And it ended up being fine. But, child, I swallowed a pill whole my first day home. And I was a little nervous about that. Other things, I will say, I was on a strict clear liquid diet for the first day home, and then I started the day after discharge, which would have been a Thursday for me. On Thursday, I started to have an intake of protein shakes as well. So, everybody's program might be different, so I'm not going to get into how much clear liquids, how much protein and everything, but I can say that weekend I really struggled. The weekend after my surgery, I struggled because it was so hard to see people eating all around me, to be at home with my family and just kind of being stuck in the house, and seeing them eating. And then they ate a pizza one night, and pizza is one of my favorite foods. I about had a meltdown. Okay, actually, I would say I did have a meltdown. I cried. I did cry because I wanted to eat some so bad. And it was very strange to me to feel like food had that much of a effect on my mental health and my mental well-being. I mean, I really truly felt devastated that I could not eat with them. I felt devastated that I could not try it, that I had to smell it, and it was just hard. I think that pizza was just very triggering for me. The other food they've eaten has not been as bad, but I was just so triggered in that moment. Like, man, I cannot handle this. What have I done to myself? And I kept feeling like, what have I done with myself? For probably up until probably about a week after surgery. That first week, I felt like, what have I done? You can't eat anything. This is horrible. This is awful. That's how I was feeling. And keep in mind, I'm only 2 weeks out now. I still have those thoughts. I still have the thoughts of like, man, what have I done? Like, you'll never be able to eat this again. You'll never be able to eat a whole burrito. But then I remind myself that, it's not about how much you can eat. It's about being able to be in control of your intake. I've always wished that I could be satisfied with just eating a slice or two of pizza instead of needing 4 slices or more. I have took down a whole pizza before. Now, I'm not necessarily proud of that, and it wasn't like no XL pizza, but I definitely took down a whole pizza by myself. Okay? So I'm trying to remind myself that, you did this, you had your reasons, and the state that you're in right now is only temporary. Okay, so that is other thoughts that I've had during this 1 week, the first week post-op, is that I do feel like the hunger that I've been feeling is mostly in my head. It's like my brain is telling me I want to eat, and my overall habits have made me want to eat. I don't feel hungry. I don't feel hungry because keep in mind, I'm pushing fluids. It's just now starting to be 10 o'clock where I am. I've already had 1 bottle of water, and that's really good for post-op. So I don't feel hungry, but it is in your head. It is a mental thing. And so people saying, well, you won't want to eat. I want to eat. That's what I want to do. It's hard to break the habit of eating. You've been eating for your whole life, multiple times a day, all the time. So I will say that it is a little bit difficult to just up and not eat. It's difficult. So people who are telling you, well, you're not going to want to eat, you're going to be recovering from surgery and yada, yada, yada. I would say don't listen to them. Don't expect that to be you. Like, don't expect it. If that's what happens, great, fine. That's even more helpful. But for me, someone who have struggled with binge eating, also just poor eating habits in general, it's difficult to put into words just how much like you want to eat. Okay. And that's why I had that meltdown. And my husband, he's been so supportive and he's been a listening ear. But I had to be able to be okay before I come on camera to you guys, because I ain't finna get on camera crying, okay? So I wanted to just reflect on that, and I felt that once I kind of got over that initial hump, I would be ready to record. So, yes, first week home was okay. Overall, it was okay. Weight has been lost. I have lost a few pounds. Now, the first week, I think I lost about, I was 284 when I went in to have surgery. They weighed me when I got there. I was 284 and some change. Now, when you come back home, your weight will have increased because they just pumped you full of fluids because you had surgery. So you got to get all that back off of you. So my weight, I'm sure it went back up to around 290 because it took me a little while to crack 285 again, 284 again. I'm trying not to get on the scale every day, but to me it's kind of fun seeing the scale, seeing the weight go down a little bit every day. So yeah, I don't know how much I lost the first week. I don't know. I don't remember. But yes, so it's been pretty cool. You know, the surgery, I would say it's a big change. It's a big change.